Hello, and welcome back to our masterclass on temperaments. Today we're discussing melancholy in affection. We've gone over melancholy in inclusion, control, and now today we're talking about melancholy in affection. Once again, I'm here with my wife, Dr. Amy. Dr. Amy, what can you tell us about the melancholies and how they approach affection?
Well, let's take a look at that second sheet of the report again. So at the very bottom here, melancholies rank pretty low on this scale. They want very little affection and they express very little.
Wow, okay.
So melancholies are usually more of an acts of service type of person instead of physical touch or words of affirmation.
They like to get things done.
Yes. They're very efficient, even in love. So they like to be intimate.
Okay.
But one of their weaknesses is that they have sex, but they don't make love.
All right, help me understand that.
So there is very little floor play. There is very little cuddling afterwards. It is cut to the chase. They want to have sex, but then they're done. And so this isn't a problem if you're married to another melancholy and affection. If your affection needs are the same, then that's great. However, a lot of the people that I counsel with one is a melancholy in affection and one is a sanguine in affection who is very expressive.
Very cuddly.
Yes.
Very touchy.
And so melancholy in affection, they have very deep feelings. Again, they are extremely loyal and dependable, and they have very deep feelings. They just don't talk about it or show it physically.
Wow, that's got to be challenging for a sanguine. I would assume that a melancholy would appear to be rejecting the other person.
Yes. Yeah.
When really they're not?
Yes.
Wow.
So they like quality time and they acts of service, even gifts. Those are comfortable ways for them to express love. So I will get a couple in my office, and the one who's probably sanguine and affectionate, oh, you're smothering me. Why are you sitting so close? Why do you always have to touch my hand?
Right. So the melancholy is saying that to the sanguine.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the other person is hurt because I'm just trying to love you, and washing my car doesn't really feel like you're saying I love you.
Got it.
So that I think is really important. If you are married to a melancholy, you need to know that even though they don't want to cuddle, even though they are not showering you with words of affirmation, there is very deep love there. They're very loyal.
Wow.
And just because they're not expressing it doesn't mean that they don't feel it. Their deep relationships are pretty far and few between.
Okay.
Similar to inclusion. They let very few people in, but they are very protective of their feelings. This comes from a deep fear of rejection. If I don't take down all my walls and let you in, then you can't hurt me.
I can imagine that if a melancholy was abused, that would be, incredibly challenging.
Yes.
One, they're wired this way, but then two, the abuse just compounds that.
Yes, absolutely.
And then if you're not abused, it would almost make you think that, wow, I wonder if I was abused. I wonder if something's wrong with me. And I think that's one of the reasons why we love teaching on temperament. It's not that something's wrong with you. It's just this is the way that you're wired.
Right. So again, the melancholies, we talked about their mind being active all the time. So one of the areas of affection that affects their mind is they tend to have sexual fantasies.
Okay, go on.
Sometimes they will rather live it out in their head than actually act it out in real life.
Wow, a
with
safer
somebody
place
else.
for sure.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So they become very devastated if they're hurt by one of those close personal relationships.
Right.
They feel crowded if their space is being invaded, like by touching, hugging, hand-holding. So with melancholies and affection, the law of reciprocity comes into play. So
What do you mean?
Reciprocity is the more love I show, the more love that I'm going to receive.
Okay.
Because melancholies don't show very much love, very little comes back, and this leads to great loneliness. So it's very important for the melancholy to learn how to express themselves. I'm not comfortable saying
Okay.
I love you.
Right.
I would like to make love, but I'm not so much into the cuddling. But they also need to learn how to step out of their comfort zone a little bit.
Right. Right. Especially if they're married to a sanguine.
Especially
Right.
if they're married to a sanguine. Like I said, if the best case scenario would be if two melancholy and affections were married to each other.
Right.
They would get each other. So,
I love you. I said it once.
yeah, don't forget
And I'm
it.
good. Yes.
So the melancholy is very sensitive people, very deep in everything that they feel.
Yeah.
And they're going to stand by you forever, but
They just don't express it.
they just don't express it.
Wow. That's got to be a challenge. But it can also be a relief if you understand that you're a melancholy or you're married to a melancholy and you realize this, it means you're not being rejected. And that's very liberating.
Yeah. So, and again, you can overcome any of these.
Okay.
These are weaknesses.
Right.
We can learn how to overcome them and to push ourselves out of our comfort zone, especially for a relationship. If you realize that somebody else's needs for affection are greater than yours, then there needs to be compromise in there. And so not to use this as an excuse. Well, I'm a melancholy, so I don't
Right.
like to hug or touch or hold hands. Like we can't use this as an excuse or a crutch.
Right. But it does give us great understanding.
Yes. Yep. So it's kind of like a rubber band theory. It's like we can pull ourselves outside of our temperament a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to want to come back. So
Right.
when I work with couples and we review this stuff and I explain the differences in their temperament, they work on it, they get better for a little bit, and then they get frustrated because I've already taught you that you know this about me. But you have to show some grace there because this is going to naturally pull you back to the way that you were designed.
Wow. How would you encourage a melancholy who is married to a sanguine? What can you help me do other than come out of my comfort zone a little bit more?
I would say make sure that when you're doing your acts of service, that you're letting that person know,
Right.
I do this because I care about you so much.
Right.
So I would weigh that out. What's easier for me to do, words of affirmation or physical touch?
Okay.
If words of affirmation are a little easier, then I would do the acts of service or spend quality time, and I would say, I'm doing this because
Right.
I love you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. That was great. Yeah. And we hope that you enjoyed understanding the melancholy in both inclusion, control, and today in affection. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, guys.